More cars are getting repossessed all across the nation. Chase Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management joining us now with some reasons why these numbers are going up. Why? I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're going to have your prime borrowers, and from a consumer standpoint, right, you want to shop your loans. I always tell people, don't go to the car and buy the car first. You want to go talk to different loan places.
Yeah.
I think you could get a little bit more benefit in auto loans for the next year. But
Car loan crisis. What you can do to avoid falling behind.
So what's behind this? Experts point to higher borrowing costs, rising car prices, and unsteady employment. Repossessions for less expensive vehicles. Consumer spending is up. The stock market is going in the right direction. But when you focus in on the road, the numbers tell a different story.
Right now, somewhere in America, a tow truck is backing into a driveway before the sun comes up. The family inside has no idea. They will walk out in a few hours to go to work, drop the kids off, live their normal life, and there will be nothing there. Just an empty spot where their car used to be. 2.5 million repossessions. That number is not a typo, and it is getting worse every single month. Here is what nobody is telling you. There are 8 specific cars, models you can walk into a dealership and finance today, that are practically built to fail. The payment looks fine, the approval comes fast. The salesman is smiling, and then, quietly, without warning, the trap snaps shut. But there are also 5 cars out there where the repo man almost never shows up. Same economy, same financial pressure, completely different outcome. So before you sign anything, before you even step foot on a lot, you need to ask yourself one question. Is the car you are about to buy building your future, or is it quietly financing someone else's? Here is what nobody wants to say out loud. The economy is supposed to be fine. The stock market is moving in the right direction. Consumer spending is up. Unemployment numbers look reasonable on paper. Every indicator the experts point to suggests things are holding together. So why are 2.5 million cars being ripped out of American driveways? That number is not a typo. 2.5 million repossessions. We hit 1.73 million in 2024 alone, the highest since 2009, when the financial crisis was swallowing everything in sight. And instead of that number cooling off, it accelerated. The trajectory heading into 2026 is not improving. It is getting uglier by the month. Subprime delinquencies just hit 6.6%. That is the highest number ever recorded since they started tracking this data back in 1994. Think about that for a second. We have never seen this many people falling behind on car payments in the entire history of keeping score. Not during the dot-com crash. Not after September 11th, not even in the depths of 2008. So what is actually driving this? 3 things working together at the worst possible time. Borrowing costs that exploded over the last few years and have not meaningfully come back down. Car prices that have climbed to an average of nearly $50,000 for a new vehicle. An employment that looks stable in the headlines but feels anything but stable to the people living it. Hours getting cut, contracts ending, gig income drying up without warning, dealers kept selling, lenders kept approving, and buyers kept signing paperwork on loans stretching 84 months, sometimes 96 months. That is 8 years of payments on a vehicle losing value every single day it sits in your driveway. The math was never going to work for a lot of these people. But nobody at the dealership sat them down and explained that. Nobody showed them what that loan actually costs from start to finish. The focus was always on one number, the monthly payment. Can you afford $400 a month? Great. Sign here. What they did not mention was the insurance, the fuel, the maintenance. The way one unexpected medical bill or one slow month at work turns a manageable payment into a missed payment, and a missed payment into two, and two into a phone call from a lender you do not want to receive. This is not bad luck hitting random people. This is a pattern. It is built into how cars are being sold and financed in America right now. And once you understand that, the 2.5 million number stops being shocking. It starts making perfect sense. Let's start with the number one most repossessed vehicle in America. And honestly, if you have been paying any attention at all, this one should not surprise you. The Ford F-150, the best-selling vehicle in this country for over 40 consecutive years. And that sounds like a badge of honor, until you understand what it actually means in the context of 2.5 million repossessions. It means more people are financing this truck than almost anything else on the road. And when you combine that kind of volume with price tags that have gone completely off the rails, you get a crisis hiding inside a sales record. We are talking about a truck that routinely sells for $60,000 to $70,000. Higher trims push past $80,000. And the people signing those loans are stretching themselves so thin just to get the keys that there is almost no room left for anything to go wrong. Monthly payments of $1,000 or more. Loan terms of 84 months, sometimes 96 months. You are paying off a vehicle for 8 years while it loses value every single day it sits in your driveway. But the payment is just the beginning. Insurance on a brand new truck right now is brutal. Fuel costs because these things are not exactly sipping gas. Maintenance and repairs on a vehicle this size add up fast. One unexpected bill, one slow month, one medical emergency, and suddenly you are behind. Then 2 months behind. Then the tow truck is outside before the sun comes up. Here is what makes this worse. Banks keep approving these loans without hesitation because the F-150 holds strong resale value. If you default, they repo it, flip it at auction, and barely lose $1. They win either way. You are the one left without a vehicle and a credit score that will follow you for years. Sitting right next to the F-150 on repo lots across the country is the Chevy Silverado. Different badge, identical story. Massive price tags, stretched loan terms, and buyers who had no business being approved in the first place, but somehow got the keys anyway. The Ram pickup completes this trio, carrying every single one of the same problems straight onto the same repo lots. Trucks used to be work vehicles, tools bought by people who needed them to do a job. Now they are status symbols, people financing $60,000 trucks that sit in office parking lots, never hauled anything, never will. The banks know this, the dealerships know this, and they keep selling because when the math stops working for you, it still works perfectly for them. The truck is not the dream they sold you. For too many buyers, it is the beginning of the end. Now we need to talk about sedans, because it is not just trucks filling these repo lots. There is one car that has become so synonymous with repossession that the people who work these lots joke about it openly. They say their inventory looks like a certified pre-owned Nissan dealership. That is not an exaggeration. That is just Tuesday. The Nissan Altima is the third most repossessed vehicle in America right now. And the reason it keeps showing up has nothing to do with the car being unusually expensive or the buyer being unusually irresponsible. It has everything to do with a system that was built around them from the very start. Nissan runs something called the Second Chance Program. Sounds generous. Sounds like a company trying to help people who had a rough stretch get back on their feet. What it actually is a pipeline, a direct pipeline that connects buyers with bad credit, bankruptcies, and foreclosures straight to subprime lenders who will approve almost anyone, regardless of what their financial situation actually looks like. Consumer Reports investigated this and found one example that tells you everything you need to know. A woman earning $1,200 a month got approved for an Altima with a $445 monthly payment at 21% interest. That payment was consuming nearly half her income before she paid a single dollar in rent or bought a single bag of groceries. She knew the number was too high. She needed a car and convinced herself it would work out. It did not. She ended up filing for bankruptcy just to avoid the repossession. And lenders like Santander and Credit Acceptance are not losing sleep over that outcome. They make billions writing exactly these kinds of loans because the business model does not require you to succeed. They repo the car, sell it at auction, and then come after you for the difference between what they recovered and what you still owed. Sometimes for decades. The failure is not a bug in this system. It is the feature. Then, there is the car itself working against the buyer. Nissan's CVT transmission is notorious for failing right around 80,000 miles. So now you have someone already stretched to the breaking point financially, and their transmission dies. They cannot afford the repair, and they cannot keep making payments on a car that does not run. That is when the tow truck shows up. Before we go further, if you want the complete breakdown of every vehicle that will drain your finances in 2026, I put together a free ebook called Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026. Depreciation data, reliability scores, the exact models mechanics see constantly. Link is in the description. Download it before you walk into any dealership. Here is the thing about Dodge. No single manufacturer shows up on repo lists more consistently across more models at more price points. This is not a coincidence. This is a pattern. And it starts with the two cars that people buy specifically to be seen in them. The Dodge Charger and the Dodge Challenger. Muscle car icons, loud exhaust, aggressive styling, the kind of car that turns heads the moment you pull up. And that is exactly why people buy them. The problem is turning heads does not pay your car note. These cars attract a very specific type of buyer. Young, wants to look successful, makes decisions based on emotion and not math. And look, the Charger is genuinely a beautiful car. That V8 sounds incredible. There is nothing wrong with wanting one. The problem starts when you are 23 years old, financing $40,000 worth of vehicle at 18% interest because you wanted the Scat Pack and nobody stopped you from signing. And the payment is just where the pain begins. Insurance on these cars is absolutely brutal. You are young and you are driving a high-performance vehicle. Insurance companies see that combination and charge accordingly. $300 to $500 a month just for coverage. Then fuel, because a V8 Hemi is not known for efficiency. Another $300 to $400 a month at the pump. Add everything together, and that Charger is costing $1,500 to $2,000 a month when all the real numbers are on the table. For most people buying these cars, that is not sustainable for long. The social media cycle around these cars tells the whole story. Buy the car, post it online, get the likes, live like you made it. Then 3 months later, you are catching the bus because the bank came and took your flex away. The car looks great in photos. It just does not look as good on a flatbed heading toward the auction lot. The Dodge Journey is a completely different kind of trap. This is the budget SUV that looks affordable on paper. Sticker price seems reasonable. Approval comes easy. Payment feels manageable. Everything feels fine, right up until it is not. Terrible reliability, outdated design, and maintenance costs that quietly stack up on a buyer who was already stretched thin before they ever signed. When something breaks, and something always breaks on a Journey, owners are forced to choose between fixing the car and making the payment. Most people try to do both and end up doing neither. Charger, Challenger, Ram, Journey, different prices, different buyers. One destination. The repo lot is waiting for all of them. And it has been waiting patiently from the moment they drove off the lot. Now let's talk about something more insidious than trucks and muscle cars. Let's talk about the cars people buy specifically to look wealthy when they are not. The entry-level luxury trap. And right now, two vehicles are leading this category straight onto repo lots from coast to coast. The BMW 3 Series and the Audi A4. These are the keeping up with the Jones specials. The cars people finance because they want that badge on the hood. That specific logo that signals to everyone in the parking lot that they have arrived. The problem is, most of the people buying these cars have not arrived anywhere near where they need to be financially to own one. Here is how the trap works. A used BMW 3 Series or Audi A4 shows up at a dealership for $30,000 or $35,000. And to a buyer who has always wanted that badge, that number feels like a deal. A luxury car at an almost reasonable price. What they do not see yet is the three-layer problem waiting for them the moment they drive off the lot. The first layer is depreciation. German luxury cars lose value faster than almost anything else on the road. The second you take ownership, you are underwater. The car is worth less than you owe, and that gap widens every single month. There is no recovering from that position quietly. It follows you everywhere. The second layer is the interest rate. Anything less than perfect credit means 15%, 18%, sometimes over 20% on a vehicle that is simultaneously losing value underneath you. That is not a car payment. That is a slow financial bleed with no tourniquet in sight. Every single month, you are paying more and owning less. The third layer is maintenance. And this is the one that actually finishes people off. These are not Toyota Corollas. When something breaks on a BMW, and something will break, you are paying luxury prices for the repair. A fix that costs $500 on a Honda costs $1,500 on a German car. Most buyers financing these vehicles at high interest rates do not have $1,500 sitting in savings waiting for that moment. Nobody at the dealership mentioned that part. The first payment default rate on these entry luxury vehicles is genuinely alarming. People sign, drive the car for a month, feel the full weight of what they actually agreed to, and simply stop paying. The allure of looking successful is destroying credit scores every single day across America. The badge is not worth it. It never was. But the dealership knew that before you walked in, and they handed you the pen anyway. So we have been through the repo kings, the trucks, the muscle cars, the subprime sedans, the badge chasers. 8 vehicles that banks love financing and tow truck drivers know by name. But here is where the story changes completely. There are 5 cars out there where the repo man almost never shows up. Same economy hitting everyone, same interest rates, same financial pressure squeezing households from every direction. But something about these specific vehicles keeps the people who buy them out of trouble consistently, across every income level and every market condition. The deeper truth connecting all 5 is not really about the cars themselves. It is about who buys them and why. The mindset walking onto the lot determines the outcome more than almost any other factor, and that mindset shows up directly in the repossession data. The Toyota Prius sits at the top of this list for a reason. The people buying a Prius are not buying it to impress anyone. They are buying it because the math works. Exceptional fuel economy means real money left over every single month for the actual payment. Outstanding resale value means they are never underwater. They always have equity. They always have options if something goes wrong. That combination is financial armor. The Lexus ES proves something important. You can have a genuine luxury experience without destroying your finances to get it. Toyota reliability underneath a premium badge means the brutal maintenance bills that sink BMW and Audi buyers simply do not show up. These buyers understand the difference between actual quality and the appearance of quality. That distinction saves them thousands. The Toyota Tacoma is the truck that proves trucks do not have to be financial traps. Buyers who choose a Tacoma over an F-150 are making a calculated decision. Strong resale value, reasonable running costs, and an actual use case beyond impressing the neighborhood. This is a tool, not a costume. The Subaru Outback and Mazda CX-5 attract a very specific kind of buyer, someone who researched before they walked in. These are the buyers who calculated total cost of ownership before they ever asked about monthly payments. These are not impulse purchases, and that mindset shows up directly in the repossession data. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid closes the list for the same core reason. These buyers think in years rather than months, enjoying fuel savings that compound over time, and reliability that does not surprise you with a 4-figure repair bill 6 months in. These vehicles do not show up in flexing videos. They get bought, paid off, and kept for years by people who understood from the very start that a car is transportation, not a personality. That mindset is the single biggest factor keeping them off flatbeds. So what is the actual lesson hiding inside all of this? We have covered a lot of ground. Trucks priced beyond the budgets of the people chasing them. A sedan program designed to trap subprime buyers from the moment they sit down. Muscle cars bought for the image and repoed in silence. Entry luxury vehicles financed by people chasing a badge their finances could not survive. And 5 cars that quietly protect the people smart enough to choose them. The lesson is not complicated, but it requires you to be completely honest with yourself before you walk into any dealership. Start with total cost of ownership, not the monthly payment. The monthly payment is the number dealerships want you focused on because it is the smallest, most manageable looking piece of a much larger picture. What does insurance cost on this specific vehicle? What does fuel cost monthly based on real consumption numbers? What does the maintenance history of this model actually look like? What does depreciation do to its value over 3 years? Run every single one of those numbers before you sit down across from a salesperson, because the dealership already ran them. They just ran them in their favor, not yours. Understand what you are actually signing. An 84-month loan on a vehicle losing 40% of its value in 3 years is not a deal. It is a sentence. You will be making payments on an asset worth half what you paid while still owing close to the original amount. That is not transportation. That is a financial anchor tied around your future. Know the repo data before you choose. High repossession rates are not random. They are signals telling you something real about the ownership experience that no commercial, no test drive, and no smiling salesperson will ever voluntarily share. When a specific model keeps showing up on repo lots month after month, that pattern is trying to tell you something. Listen to it. And finally, separate the car from your identity completely. The vehicles that almost never get repossessed were bought by people who saw them as transportation. The vehicles filling repo lots were bought by people who saw them as a statement. That single psychological difference shows up in the data more clearly than any other factor. Emotion walked in. Math stayed outside. The repo man showed up. The crisis is real. It is accelerating. But it is entirely avoidable if you walk into that dealership carrying data instead of emotion. The repo man does not care about your circumstances. He does not care that your hours got cut or that an unexpected bill wiped out your savings. He is just doing his job. And his job is taking your car when the payments stop. Here is where everything we covered today comes into sharp focus. 2.5 million repossessions. Subprime delinquencies at the highest level ever recorded. A lending system that profits whether you make every payment or miss them all. Dealerships focused on moving metal before it costs them money. This is not a temporary blip. This is not a headline that resets next quarter. The numbers are trending in one direction, and that direction is worse. The 8 vehicles we covered did not land on repo lots by coincidence. The Ford F-150, Chevy Silverado, and Ram became status symbols priced beyond the budgets of the people chasing them. The Nissan Altima became the backbone of a subprime machine that was never designed for buyers to win. The Dodge Charger, Challenger, and Journey captured emotional decisions at every income level. The BMW 3 Series and Audi A4 sold the image of success to buyers whose finances could not survive ownership. Different cars, different buyers. One pattern underneath it all. Emotion walked in. Math stayed outside. The repo man showed up. But the other list proved something equally important. The Prius, the Tacoma, the Lexus ES, the Outback, the RAV4 Hybrid. These vehicles faced the same economy, the same rates, the same rising costs. Yet their owners kept them, paid them off, and built equity instead of debt. Because they walked in with a plan, not a feeling. The repo crisis is real, but it is not equal. And the only thing standing between you and that tow truck showing up before sunrise is the decision you make before you ever set foot on a lot. If you want the complete picture before that moment comes, download my free ebook, Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026. Every model on this list and more, depreciation data, reliability scores, the exact vehicles mechanics see constantly falling apart. The link is in the description. Download it before you walk into any dealership. The dealership already ran the numbers. Make sure you did too.